You're watching Delta Daybreak.
And welcome back to Delta Daybreak. Here we have Mr. Ike Trotter. How are you this morning?
Fine. Good morning. Good to be with
for
you. Oh, yes.
All right, today we're talking about life insurance, the importance of having life insurance.
Yes.
Tell us about it.
Yes. A couple of weeks ago, Adrian, when I was on here, I mentioned the fact that statistics pointing out today that ownership of life insurance coverage by American families is slipping. In fact, one of the more glaring statistics to this report that I was talking about indicated that some 11 million households with children under the age of 18 have no life insurance coverage whatsoever. Wow. So, Adrian, that's a pretty alarming statistic.
It is.
You know, in the context of working with families and small businesses and looking at their overall financial planning portfolio, Adrian, one of the tougher areas of this process, certainly on a step-by-step basis with individuals, is determining how much life insurance does one need.
Right.
But coming up with a workable formula oftentimes is a very tough task.
Yeah.
So what is needed, we think, is a simple, an understandable, a usable process by which people can quickly and can easily determine what their life insurance needs are.
Okay.
So what I thought might be fun today, and I was mentioning that this is the first time we've ever done a program standing up. It feels weird standing up here. But what I thought we might do is just to look at this process if we could. Now, Adrian, I thought you would appreciate this. I went out to our TV audience and I actually found a guy by the name of Dayton Deltabreaker.
Wow.
There is a person out there by that name. That's right.
I was looking at that earlier. I'm like, I wonder what.
Dayton Deltabreaker. And
cool.
Dayton is 35 years old. Actually, his birthday is today.
Well, happy birthday,
Yes.
Mr. Deltabreaker. Deltabreaker.
Dayton Deltabreaker. Let's get this right. But Dayton is a very typical situation here. He's married. He's bringing home $1,750 every 2 weeks. So his monthly income is about $3,500 a month.
Okay.
Now, would you like to guess what his wife's name is?
What's his wife?
Della Deltabreaker.
Thompson?
So Dayton and Della, they live here in the Delta. They had 2 children, 10 and 5.
Okay.
And so what I've tried to do is an easy life insurance needs analysis just to help them quickly understand what their needs might be. So I thought we would go through this just as far as we can during this first half hour, and then we'll come back in the next half hour and finish up.
Okay, great.
If you look at a simple life insurance needs analysis, it's really a 3-step process. Step 1 actually is broken down into 2 phases, Adrian.
Okay.
First of all, we need to look at what are those expenses that may come up that we'd need to make sure that were paid off in the event that we died.
Okay.
So what are those expenses? First of all is making sure that we have enough money to pay for final expenses.
Yeah.
You know, it costs a lot of money to live. Today it costs a lot of money to die.
Be buried, yeah, it does.
Second of all is looking at Dayton and Della have a mortgage. Their mortgage is $95,000.
Okay.
It would make reasonable sense that Dayton would want to make sure if something happened to him,
exactly,
that Della wouldn't be saddled with a mortgage.
Yeah, makes sense.
Yes. The third part of it is figuring out what are those debts that Dayton want to make sure that he has covered. Well, he's got credit card debts.
Yeah.
He's got a note on a car. So if you add these up, in their situation right here, it's $25,000.
Wow.
We're already up to about $130,000 or so.
Yeah.
The 4th step in this process is looking. Dayton and Della had 2 children, I mentioned earlier, age 10 and age 5.
Okay.
Well, Dayton, like most parents, would want to make sure that if something happened to him, that his children would have an opportunity to go to college.
Yeah.
And we're estimating that $14,000 a year for college, over 4 years with 2 children, that comes up to $112,000.
Okay.
So you see through this process right here, Adrian, we're adding up a lot of money very quickly. We're not even to the end of the sheet here.
Yeah.
But this is a process by which makes it easy for people to see and to understand what their needs are. We were talking about a simple, easy process for people to come up with some life insurance answers. So I'll jump right into this, Adrian, and finish this off. In the first half hour, we talked about the first step of the first step, which was looking at what are those areas that we need to add up to determine what are their needs. And we've got last expenses, we've got mortgages to pay off, car notes to make sure that are paid off, helping children to go to college if Dayton doesn't make it.
Yeah.
So we've gotten that pretty well taken care of. We're already up to about $247,000.
Wow.
But the next part is, Adrian, the family, if something happens to Dayton, his family still needs to go on living.
Yeah.
Don't forget we've got 2 kids that are 5 and 10. Isn't it reasonable to think that they might need an income over the next 15 years to make sure they can live in their own world?
Right.
So based on the information we have, Dayton makes $3,500 a month. It's not unreasonable to think that his family might need $2,000 a month for the next 15 years.
Okay.
And that figure comes over here to an amount of $280,000.
Okay.
Adrian. So if we add up all these things, we add up the what's needed to go on living, that comes up to $527,000.
Wow.
That's step one. Step two is then we add up what he already owns. He's got life insurance through work, Adrian. He's got $150,000 of life insurance.
Okay.
He's got some cash in the bank. He's got some other assets through an IRA that he contributes to. Those are justifiable assets that come up to $167,000. But since we need this much coverage, the bottom line is Dayton and Della need an additional $360,000 of life insurance on him to make sure that his family can go on living in their own world.
Right. So it's never enough, like, everyone, this existing life insurance policies, like with your company, you should go beyond that.
In this situation, yes.
Okay.
Another thing to think about is if Dayton were solely dependent on life insurance through his employer, what about if he changes jobs?
Yeah.
What about if he has another opportunity to come along and that opportunity doesn't provide life insurance? So those are the things to think about. How about Dayton's wife, Della? Doesn't she need life insurance too?
Right.
So it adds up very quickly. The important thing is there's got to be an easy process to come up with the answers, and hopefully this will help out with that.
All right. Thanks so much, Mr. Trotter. And we'll be right back, everyone.